Good evening. I want to welcome you and call to order this meeting of the Floresville ISD Board of Trustees for this date, September 9th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Let the record show that there is a quorum of board members present. Myself, Joel Odom, Mrs. Lina Martinez, Mr. Jason Savoda, Ms. Bonner Reed, Mr. Stephen Shodrock, Mr. Marshall Fleer, and Mr. Craig Moots. Furthermore, let the record show that this meeting has been duly posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Mr. Fleer will now lead us in prayer, so let's stand together, followed by Ms. Reed leading the pledges.
Bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your many blessings. We thank you for our school district, administration, teachers, staff, and students that make FISD successful. Pray that you will give us wisdom tonight to make the right decisions and to guide the district in your will and in your ways. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Mr. Moots will now recite our FISD vision and mission statement.
The FISD vision statement is character, knowledge, confidence. Our mission statement is FISD is committed to the development of innovative, lifelong learners who possess character traits to achieve personal and professional success.
And Mr. Savoda will now recite our FISD goals.
Our FISD goals are excellent student outcomes, superior workplace environment, exceptional customer service and community engagement, strategic resource management.
We will now do a round robin of reciting our FISD core beliefs. In FISD, we believe all students feel safe and supported in a developmentally and academically challenging environment.
Families are welcome partners in their children's education.
Faculty and staff are compassionate, dedicated, adaptable individuals who are student-centered.
Campus leadership is fair, equitable, and clearly communicates and engages with stakeholders.
Superintendent and central administration leads with integrity, transparency, and clear communication to provide a well-resourced educational environment.
Trustees provide student-centered and fiscally responsible leadership and transparent and ethical support of all stakeholders.
I will now recite our overview of good governance and code of ethics. Each month we highlight one of our good governance indicators and code of ethics that the FISD Board of Trustees follow to promote the best interest of the district as a whole. This month for the code of ethics we are highlighting trustworthiness and stewardship. I will be accountable to the public by representing district policies, programs, priorities, and progress accurately. I will be responsive to the community by seeking its involvement in district affairs and by communicating its priorities and concerns. I will work to ensure prudent and accountable use of district resources. I will make no personal promise or take private action that may compromise my performance or my responsibilities. Our good governance indicator for this month is the board has a plan in place to actively strengthen community partnership to improve overall performance and stewardship of public resources. We will now have some recognitions for Floresville's ISD's Student and Teacher of the Month.
Yes, Ms. Brooks, if you can come up, as well as your two students and Teacher of the Month from North Elementary.
Yes. Good evening, President Odom, Dr. Gilstrap, School Board. I'm honored to be here tonight to recognize our first Students and Teacher of the Month of the 24-25 school year. F&E would like to recognize our third grade teacher, Kelly Lane, as our Teacher of the Month. Mr. Lane is in his 19th year of teaching, all of which have been in Floresville. In fact, he told me his first classroom was just down the hall in this very building.
Right down there to the left.
He taught special education for 11 years and has since taught pre-K, 4th, and 3rd grade. He is a proud 1991 graduate and drives nearly an hour each way to come back and teach at his alma mater every day. Mr. Lane is a man of many talents and got into teaching because of his natural ability to share his skills. He's previously shared knowledge and teaching about acrobatics, juggling, scuba, music, and is now an expert in elementary math and a published illustrator whose books are in our school libraries. His many talents include humor and lightheartedness and make him a well-known figure at North Elementary. In the classroom, Mr. Lane has excelled in implementing personalized learning and helping students become more autonomous and self-directed. Daily, he challenges students to achieve the next level of learning because he designs leveled playlists and keeps kids always reaching for that next step. Kids say Mr. Lane is funny and that he makes learning more enjoyable. In fact, one of his former students said to me, "Mr. Lane has been my favorite teacher because he made learning not boring and he was always making little jokes with me." Now I have the other Mr. Lane, his brother, who teaches 5th grade for us. And he is fun too, but we'll see if he can be as cool as the first Mr. Lane. But the original Mr. Lane says his favorite thing about teaching is creating lasting relationships with students and seeing their faces when they return to elementary school for the senior walk. Parents often run down the halls and request pictures with Mr. Lane during this walk and are thankful for the impact he made on their child nearly a decade prior. His colleague said, "Mr. Lane guides the next generation in the very classrooms that shaped him. He weaves a legacy of dedication, love, and hope into the fabric of a community. His joy is a testament to the power and difference one committed teacher can make. Way to rock and roll, Kelly." So I happily present to you Mr. Kelly Lane, our September Teacher of the Month. Our first student of the month is Zara Payne. FNE would like to recognize Zara as the first September student of the month. She's joined tonight by her parents, Christina and James, and her brother, James. And she is truly a one-of-a-kind intellect. Even among top-notch students, Zara is still at the apex. She achieves excellence naturally and always scores in the top of her class. In fact, the teachers probably do not need to create an answer key because they can just use Zara's paper. Zara participates in Junior Caring Crew and the Gifted and Talented program at FNE, and outside of school she plays Floresville Little League and Spurs League. When not playing with her team, she also enjoys reading, drawing, and going outside with her family. Her teachers describe her as worldly, intuitive, and driven. In fact, she told me her plans for the future are to go to Harvard, become a neurosurgeon, expand her family, buy a pug, and live in London. When asked what Zara likes best about school, she said, her teachers, friends, learning, and how friendly and welcoming it is. At middle school, she is looking forward to having a lot more classes and to participate in sports and clubs. So FNE is proud to congratulate Zara Payne as the FISD Student of the Month. For our second Student of the Month, FNE would also like to recognize Owen Seibert. He is joined with us tonight by his parents, Justin and Nicole, and a few brothers. Owen is a natural-born leader. His 5th grade teachers say he raises the bar in the classroom, and he helps everyone engage in the activity every day. They say he has the ability to control the tone of the room and uses this attribute to bring out the best in his peers. His teachers are also impressed at his maturity and self-accountability. He was an easy pick, they said, for Student of the Month because he has all the qualities they know will serve him well later in life. At FNE, Owen participates in safety patrol and enjoys learning. Outside of school, he participates in ACYP basketball and enjoys hanging out with family. His friends say he's fun and nice to everyone. He hopes one day to attend the University of Texas at Austin and become a surgeon or maybe work for NASA. He looks forward to going to middle school and playing sports, and we would love to celebrate Owen Seibert as FISD Student of the Month.
I'd like to make a few announcements. Mr. Lane, I really appreciate your dedication. Alumni coming back 19 years, that's quite impressive. A lot of things, a published illustrator, he's funny, he makes learning not boring. So you must be the fun brother. I haven't met you. I'm going to go on the left.
Clarify that teaching of the acrobatics was much younger.
Well, it's very commendable for what you do to make the kids have fun, and that's important. So obviously, as we move on and talk about these young gentlemen and young lady, both very smart, but a lot of the curriculum that you put there has allowed them to be very successful. So Ms. Zara, I wrote down a lot, you're smart, you're goal-driven, you want a pug and move to London. That's quite and also your summary of a lot of the other stuff, you know, capturing kids' art, playing sports and all that, it definitely exhibits your commitment to push yourself to be a better person. Mr. Owen, looking at yours, you raise the bar, you control the tone of the room, so that to me is a true leader, and we appreciate that. So, thank you all.
Thank you all very much. All right, let's go up here and take a picture. Right there in the middle. There you go.
We'll take some pictures, and parents, y'all are welcome.
There you go.
That,
Ready? 1, 2, one more. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2.
Parents, if you want to come up here and get in the middle, you can. You're welcome. I noticed how Owen's brother didn't come up here to take a picture. Thank you very much. Congratulations. If you don't mind shaking their hand right over there.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
thank you. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, if you would like to be dismissed, you can at this time, and thank you for coming.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Congratulations again.
Ms. Speaker, do we have any public comments?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Schaefer, would you please come to the podium, and as you do so, I will read this statement to introduce this public comment. The board encourages comments about the district from members of the public. Anyone who signed up to speak in advance of the meeting in accordance with the board procedures may do so at this time. The board asks that each participant's comments pertain to district business and be no longer than 2 minutes. Remember that the board may discuss or act upon any issues that are not posted on our agenda. In addition, the board has adopted policies to provide prompt and equitable resolution of complaints and concerns for employees, students, or their parents, and the general public. Copies of our district policies and procedures on public comment and filing complaints are available on our website. At this time, Mr. Schaefer, you have 2 minutes.
Sure. So I got a little unique position in the community. I've ran for school board, I donate a lot of money to the district and students and stuff like that. And I usually don't come up to say anything, but I do have an issue I'd like to bring up to the board, and it's the finance of the laptops and the tablets. It's kind of come to my attention that not all the students are allowed to take their laptops or tablets home in the evening. And I don't think that's a good policy if that's the district's policy. You know, it gives the students an opportunity, especially the slow learners, to have their laptop in the evening or whatever to work on those. It also gives them an opportunity if they miss school, if they can make up that work on the laptop. You know, we've spent a lot of time and through the years, even the IRS here recently decided that 90% of the signature when is no longer wet. They're done electronically. And our SAR tests are now electronically, so the more we can get students have an opportunity to access their computing devices, I think that would be great. So I'm just asking the board if they would query the number of laptops you have. I know I hear on the finance, we do have special buys, I think we did a couple months ago, where you bought some extra laptops. Also, kind of be interested if you would try to find out, you know, how are your laptops being used? Are they being given out? I know in COVID, we had a lot of computers given out, and they actually gave out some hotspots so kids could use them, and those all seem to be really good ideals. But not letting kids have access to computers. And I know kids sometimes can break them, but at the end of the day, it's really what's best for the students, and that's having access to laptops and tablets at all times. And I just ask that the board would look into that and make that a district policy that kids would have an opportunity to have their laptops at all times. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer.
Thank you.
Any comment? All right. Moving on to deal with our reports and updates. Dr. Gilstrap will now give the superintendent's.
Yes, board members, included in your packet is the superintendent report. We haven't had a regular meeting since we started school, so I just want to let you know that the 24-25 school year is off to a great start. First day of school went great, had a lot of success, had a lot of positive comments from not only families, parents, staff members, and students regarding how well and how smooth the day went. Everything from transportation to the hallways, it just seemed like it to be a really great day. So I want to thank you to our administrators at the campuses and at the district level. There's a lot of planning and process that goes into that first initial day of school, and it's not easy, but we want to make sure we start it off right. As we begin moving forward, we're starting to settle into the routines of school. I want to remind everybody about security measures. We do have those in place, and all of our campuses have completed drills. So we are making sure we have those things implemented. We're conducting those. We look forward to another great year. Last month, Chief Key, Mr. Schroller, and I had an opportunity to attend the Wilson County Sheriff's Office security meeting. This is now required by law that they have to have one of those per semester. So Wilson County did host that. It was a great opportunity to, it was very productive with the law enforcement agencies, the school districts, and first responders from all around the county were able to get together and talk about kind of a larger picture of what security looks like for the entire county. And obviously, a big part of that is their response to any kind of issues that we have. One of the hot topics was communication. As you may know, the county has switched over to a digital radio system, and so we're good to go here. We're able to communicate. Chief Key and his officers all are able to communicate directly with the 911 dispatch. So we're good to go there. But it was good to have everybody in one room and have that kind of a meeting once a semester. We're developing our facilities task force. We kind of changed it up instead of calling it a committee because we're not selecting people. Anybody can come to this. So we came up with the name task force. Our facility task force is going to meet to review our master facility plan. If you recall, the board adopted the plan back in the spring to be proactive in addressing any kind of future growth needs that the district may have. This task force will review the plan and begin the important process of prioritizing projects and funding options to implement the plan. Sledge Engineering will facilitate the group as they've done in the past. The first of multiple meetings, we're planning on at least 4. The first one being Wednesday, September 25th at 6 o'clock in the middle school cafeteria. Anybody that's interested may get onto our website or may go to social media and find more information as well as an RSVP process. We want to try to get a head count of how many people may be showing up so we can get a good gauge on how to structure that room. Officer Keene and Chief Key had an opportunity to go and visit with our soon-to-be officer, is it Tina? Tima is going to be our K-9 officer, and Officer Keene is actually with the dog now this week doing some training, so I think we've probably got a couple of more weeks in training before the dog will be ours, and we'll be ready to go to have a K-9 on staff. So it's going to be a great opportunity. We've already got the vehicle done and secured, so once the training's complete, then Tima will be joining our force. We continue with our safety and security protocols. We want to remind everyone of the importance of following those. Remember, there's nothing convenient about security, and as we start school, we're having to remind some staff members and students and some parents and family members, community members about some of those protocols, which is fine. We expect that. But so far, everyone's been very receptive. So we want to make sure that consistency is the key whenever it comes to implementing our protocols. And we have to be patient, so please be patient with us as we continue to implement those and practice those. Alyssa has included in your packet the acceptable use agreement for technology. So if you can sign that this evening and get that back to her, that's what allows you as a board member to utilize our district iPads as well as our email. And so we need to make sure we get that turned in. Also included in your folder is an updated board training hours report. This will be announced at the regular October board meeting as required by policy. So please let Alyssa know if you have any questions or if you need to get registered for any kind of trainings like that. The superintendent's authority to offer employment contracts ended on August the 31st. Moving forward, board action will be required to offer any contracts, so administrators take note of that. I can't offer contracts immediately anymore. I want to take an opportunity to thank you as a board. I know offering those contracts is a big deal and it's very important. And thank you all for trusting me and the staff to be able to execute those and expedite that. During the hiring season over the summer, we're trying to compete, and so being able to offer a contract quickly and not having to call a board meeting and everything else really makes us more competitive in the hiring world. So thank you for doing that. Did include some enrollment updates as of Friday, as well as our year-to-date attendance. I will say that our enrollment of 4,037, we're slightly below where we were last year, but our attendance rate is above where we were last year. So we're going to have to see, and obviously it's the beginning of the year, so everybody's still a little fresh. Once we get really going into the year, we'll probably see some adjustments in the attendance. We are still monitoring enrollments and making sure we're finding all the kids that were no-shows and finding out where they are and what any kind of issues they may have as to why they might have moved or if they're staying at home or whatever their choice may be. I've also included a graph, and I'll try to update that every month. You can see compared to 22, 23, and now 24, kind of what our enrollment is, and I'm also going to set up a graph for attendance, so you can see it and kind of compare it to years previous. So that'll be coming up in some other board packets as we move forward. Lastly, just to make sure everybody knows, the football game this week at Harlandale has been adjusted to 7 o'clock. So if you're planning on going to that, it'll be at 7 o'clock, not 7:30. So plan on going over there. Please take note of that. That change came out yesterday over the week. I've also included a couple of other updates. Board members, you all are welcome to attend the facilities task force meeting as individuals. You'll have to not sit at the same table or anything like that, which as citizens, you can still participate in that process and be there to hear anything that's going on. So I encourage you to do that. Anybody have any questions?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Gilstrap. Next on the agenda is item number 5, action items. First action item is the consent agenda.
Board members, included in the packet is the consent agenda. It is typical, including any type of board minutes from previous meetings, as well as financial reports. If there's not any questions, administration recommends the board approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make the motion to move to accept the administration's recommendation.
Okay,
I
Mr. Moose
second.
makes the motion.
I second.
Ron makes a second. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor of accepting the administration's recommendation, let me know by raising your hand. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Our next item is to consider approval of the TASB policy update 123 by Dr. Gilstrap.
Yes, board members, we do have, there are quite a few on this one as far as local policy changes. The entire policy update, including the legal ones, was 400 and something pages, so I didn't want to give you a ream of paper. But policy BBD, this is in regards to if the Attorney General receives a complaint about a public information request act violation and they determine to be true, that no longer will it just be the PIA officer that has to take the training, but the whole board has to retake the training. So that is new in law. And then BBFA just clarifies that the requirement that the board members, any board members that have a potential conflict of interest regarding finances, not only do you have to report that in the audit, but you also have to report it to all board members. So that's an adjustment to local policy as well. CKC requires procedures be put in place regarding violent activity on campus. Basically, if we are investigating any type of violent activity, then we are required to notify families and students as we see fit, which Ms. Martinez has been in the process of implementing that, so we're ready to go. Policy CKE was combined. It was combined at one time, it is being combined with CKEA, so the next one after that, CKEA, is being deleted. And so CKE is now taking the place of that one, so that's just an adjustment there. CQC, we've customized what TEA is recommended for guidelines whenever it comes to matching our processes and procedures. And so particularly with technology, one of the things that they put in their guidelines is all long and lengthy text will be available digitally. Sometimes we can't, or excuse me, will be available in print. We may not have everything in print, so we put to the best of our ability. Also, to match our practice, we are limiting cell phone use while at school, so they can't have cell phones out during instructional times. DGBA, this is a complaint process for staff members. That's been adjusted because of the change in CKE, which is security personnel. EEH has to do with homebound services. No longer do the days have to be consecutive for a student to be out with homebound. They can take it periodically. Also, any type of psychological health, mental health can be considered as can be considered for homebound services. Previously, they had to have physical ailments, and they've now adjusted that in statute. Policy EF has been split into EFA and EFB. EFA is instructional resources, and EFB is library resources. We have mirrored those two, including how they are reconsidered, the process for reconsidering any of those resource items, but that is a change in getting those things adjusted. And then lastly is F&G and GF. Those are also complaints for complaint policies for students and parents as well as community members. This is modified because of the change in CKE, so it was just an adjustment with that minor change. If there's not any questions, administration recommends the board adopt the revisions and deletions of local policies as recommended by TASB Policy Update 123, and Local Policy Committee also reviewed this previously.
Mr. President, I motion to accept administration's recommendation.
All right, Mr. Bodum makes the motion.
I'll second that.
Ms. Schauber seconds it. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor of accepting administration's recommendation, let me know by raising your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Dr. Gilstrap. Thank you, board. Now we will consider approval of the campus improvement plans by Dr. Wade.
Good evening, Dr. Odom, Dr. Gilstrap, and board members. Tonight, the principals will share with you their campus improvement plans for approval for 24-25 school year. In addition to this presentation, which is in your packet, you have the complete improvement plans in your packet, all 190 plus pages, if you would like to look at some of the detail. So last month, you approved the goals and objectives for the district improvement plan. So our goals are excellent student outcomes, superior workplace environment, exceptional customer service, and community engagement, and strategic resource alignment. Also last month, you approved these performance objectives under each goal. For alignment in our district, each campus has the same goals and objectives. What a novel idea. So instead of repeating each other, the campus principals will share briefly some of the strategies that they intend to use to accomplish those goals. However, I just want to make it clear, the board is approving the goals and objectives. The board does not approve strategies. Does that make sense? So each campus also conducted a comprehensive needs assessment and reviewed multiple pieces of data to determine the strategies that they wanted to use to accomplish those goals. So first up, we have Floresville North Elementary and Principal Ms. Heather Brooks.
Good evening again. So like Dr. Way said, our goals and our performance or objective are completely aligned with the district. Some of the highlights at North for Goal 1, Excellent Student Outcomes, is that we have completed our 3rd year as a national showcase school for capturing kids' hearts. So we are hoping for year 4. We are expanding our practices with that, taking our junior caring crew school-wide and adding a caring crew rotation as part of like the electives that our elementary kids attend. We have also completely revamped our MTSS schedule, or our extra support that the kids get during the day. And so we've really structured a lot of our employees' time to be able to provide small group instruction, particularly at our 4th and 5th grade, where we know we have a lot of gaps that we need to close. And that has also resulted in us creating 2 math labs on campus to help kids close those gaps in math. And of course, we're continuing with our personalized instruction and focusing on the extensions really this year, taking kids to that meets and masters level. Again, we're continuing our teacher-led PLCs, and we have added an MTSS PLC, so the support staff that's helping lead those small groups, they're also now meeting as teacher teams so that they can build their capacity. We've continued with that additional team planning into the master schedule, but we have restructured what that team time looks like so we can make sure we're really focused on lesson planning and getting to the core of what kids need to know and how we're going to help them learn it. And then we still have weekly opportunities for staff inputs, appreciation, and recognitions. For goal 3, our exceptional customer service, we're going to continue various opportunities for student recognition, but we have added more incentives for attendance and lowering our tardies, so our attendance is up so far this year with some of our increased efforts, and we're hoping to keep that momentum going. And we have also started to expand out a lot of our whole school parent involvement activities and really isolated a few so that every grade level has an opportunity to host parents at least once or twice throughout the year. Like every campus, we're going to continue our systematic safety procedures as outlined through the district. Something that we started at the end of last year and want to continue is that we have a lot of parents who are first responders and SWAT team and state troopers and DPS, and we have formed some really good relationships with them, and they have been gracious in attending our events with us and attending our parent meetings and just being present more on campus. And several have come to make presentations to the students about what being on the SWAT team is like, just so that we can create the overall environment of safety and help kids hear that message too. And at this time, I would like to turn it over to my colleague and dear friend, Dr. Monica Schluter.
Good evening, Dr. Odom, Dr. Gilstrap, Board of Trustees. Very similar to North, but we are in year 2, chasing after year 2 to being a nationally recognized Capturing Kids Heart School. Our focus, we have built new rotations that focus on problem solving in our makerspace rotation, back fluency in our tech apps, and also a CKH rotation. And then we are focusing on our small group instruction and personalized learning in our math centers. Goal 2 is superior workplace environment. We have identified content specialists per grade level to lead our PLCs. We also have a year at a glance with planning goals that are tied to our Tier 1 instruction. We do a monthly family dining experience for our staff. It typically looks like a food truck and a tailgate during their lunch break. And then we also do weekly shout outs and highlight those on bulletin boards and in our bi-weekly faculty scoop. Goal 3, exceptional customer service and community engagement. We have the Tiger Grit Reward, and we do it in months, and then at the end of the month we celebrate kids with good attendance, good behavior reports. We also do grade level family nights, which typically the choir performs, and we highlight different showcase nights, whether it be GT, dual language, multicultural, fine arts, choir, STEM. And then we are hosting a UIL campus event October 5th, where families are invited to see how it goes and the kids get to compete. And then we are competing at the district level in December. And for goal 4, our strategic resource management, safety is always our priority. We are controlled campus access, we continue that. And then we also have building blocks from our community first responders that are part of our FSC family, from state troopers to the lieutenant chief. And now I will hand it over to Mr. Riley from the news.
Thank you. Dr. Odom, Dr. Gilstrap, members of the board, I am very honored to have the chance to share with you some of the exciting things that are going on in the middle school. And as my colleagues have already done, I'm going to go straight through the goals, starting with goal number 1, our educational excellent student outcomes, We are expanding our intervention programs for both attendance and tardies to try to increase those rates. We've already seen some gains in that in terms of students that we've had to do home visits for, and we've already seen increased gains in those areas. We're also increasing our Tier 1 interventions to try to bridge those performance gaps that some students have, and especially focusing right now on math, which is where we see as one of our target areas. And we're already starting to see some results there where small groups are being pulled, interactions being pulled, working with, of course, people from teaching and learning to help us make sure that we get those students the assistance they need. We are also refining our data tracking process. We streamlined things a little bit in terms of monitoring student growth. And again, our target this year is not just to make sure we get those students up to that approaches level, but we're looking to beef up the level of meets and masters, which is our primary target this year for all content areas. And that is right in line with the focus on the advanced academic tracks, especially in mathematics, but we're looking going forward to how we might advance that in other content areas as well. As far as the second goal for superior workplace environment, we are providing additional training to the staff. We've already started working with Ms. Knight from the Teaching and Learning Department in terms of how we can get those teachers assistance in getting to that additional rigor level for that meets and masters we talked about earlier. We do have established now what we are calling our Campus Vision Council, which is intended to meet periodically and look at the direction of our campus and where we want to go from here. It's composed of teachers, paraprofessionals, and additional staff members, including our cafeteria and custodial staff, trying to get a broad spectrum view of things. And we are expanding our recognition program. We obviously are still recognizing students and teachers every month, but we've also added to that a slice where students are now recognizing the staff members that they feel like most contributed to their success when they win an award as well. As far as goal number 3, for exceptional customer service and community engagement, we are going to expand the use of our student surveys. We're going to do that more often and try to get a little bit more depth into trying to figure out exactly what's working and what may need to be tweaked in terms of the program engagement with our students. We are very excited to announce that it has officially been recognized that Floresville Middle School now has a parent-teacher association, and it's off to a raging start. As of this morning, we already have 200 families that have joined our parent-teacher association, and we'll have a big push starting on Wednesday when we have the faculty meeting to get some of our teachers and other staff members involved as well.
That's the first time, correct?
Yes, sir.
First time we've been.
Yes, sir.
That's great. Yeah.
We've also instituted a monthly newsletter. Actually, it's 2. We have one that we send out every month to all of the family members, all the parents and guardians in our district about things that are going on and things that are coming up, and some suggestions for how they can better engage their kids at home. And we have a companion piece that is one that we're doing every month to our staff members. And then finally, for goal number 4, strategic resource management, that Campus Vision Council I mentioned earlier, one of the things they're going to be doing is helping me take a look at our expenditures, trying to give me a little bit more input in terms of where we need to target our budgets as have been so generously allocated to us. How do we want to make sure those things are being used effectively, where we might want to adjust some things. And we are also going to try to get our staff members on campus to take a look at our internal security procedures. Obviously, we're still, as the controller indicated, deeply involved in making sure we're following Raptor and all of the other guidelines we have for our emergency operations. But within our internal campus procedures, what can we adjust or change to make things a little bit more effective? All right, it is my privilege to hand the mic over to the gentleman that was kind enough to show me a thriving campus, Mr. Barrett.
Thanks, I appreciate you. Good evening, Dr. Gilstrap, Pastor Odom, Board of Trustees. So at the high school this year, starting over here in Goal 1, one of the first strategies that we really wanted to dive into was implementing something to go back and recapture some of our kids that we consider dropouts. We established a task force and we have assistant principals and counselors. What we're doing is we're going out to these students' houses who dropped out from last year. We're making home visits with them, determining what are their intentions, what are their plans for enrolling. If they're eligible for the FAST program, we're mentioning that. If not, we're talking about some of their enrollment opportunities to try to get those students back to prevent that dropout and ultimately increase the graduation rate at the high school. In addition to that, we've really worked on implementing some Tier 1 and Tier 1 instructional playbook. What that is that's a checklist from some of the best practices of the file. It's a one-pager we've handed teachers and stated, this is what we want to see every time we walk into your classroom. So they have a clear-cut best practice sheet right in front of them that we can observe as we walk into their classroom, and it's really helping us get the ball rolling on implementation of the file. In addition, we have taken a survey where we polled our 8th graders last year and asked them what are some of the career interests that they have, and they stated that they wanted a business track at the high school. This is year 1. We have implemented the first phase of our business track, which is the principles of business marketing and finance at the high school. We have roughly 60 students who are currently enrolled in that particular track. Moving on to goal 2 for our superior workplace environment. One of the pieces that we have brought in is we've really started to leverage, we have Carnegie Learning Systems, which is what we utilize for our mathematics program. It's a high quality instructional material that's approved by the state. We've really brought in a lot of professional development to help support those math teachers in better working through that Carnegie system. We've created a system for staff recognition, and we're really leveraging social media kind of across the board this year. I have a great resource in one of my assistant principals, Ms. Ramos, and we have really utilized her skills to recognize staff. And then also when we get to the community page, there's a piece in there that we've been utilizing for that as well. And then we're continuing work through our foundational pillars. When I took on the high school, one of the things that staff members mentioned was that they wanted to continue the pillar work where we talk about academics, we talk about culture. It gives them voice in how we're driving the school. And so we've really assigned those pillars out, and we've started to meet with these teachers and collect their voice so they're part of the decision-making process. Goal 3 for exceptional customer service and community engagement. One of the pieces that we have up there is that we will strive for continuous communication with our community. We've really pushed out our community weekly newsletter. In addition, we're creating a CTE newsletter where we can start to highlight some of the things that the kids in our CTE programs are doing and communicate that out to our community. And then we have a CTE advisory board that that we've implemented, and we've started to go out and we're trying to collect some interest. I've met with Ms. Galvan, and we're looking at some of the businesses in the area, and we're trying to start to reach out to some of those people, hopefully schedule some meetings, go and sit with some of those people and talk about some partnerships so we can try to establish out in our community. Lastly, for our strategic resource management, establish a financial plan to grow some of our programs. We've pushed out to all of our CTE programs for them to collect a list of the needs that they have for their program, starting with what's priority for safety, and then going into some of those items that are nice to have so that we can be really strategic in how we're allocating some of our funds to help support those CTE programs. In addition, we're looking at potentially using some Education Foundation grants if that's what the teachers decide to apply for, as well as some of our title funds to really start to outfit our classrooms with some really up-to-date technology, some of that innovative technology like the AirTames and iPads, things that really help teachers disconnect and be mobile, those things that are just really nice to have. Those are things that we've really started to gear up towards trying to establish on our particular campus. And then with our community service, our community outreach on this page, one thing that I wanted to mention was Ms. Ramos has done a really good job of taking some of our community members and highlighting them through the Floresville High School. If you haven't looked at it, she does it every Thursday. We'll find a community member who graduated from Floresville High School who's been invested in the campus, and we're posting them out there on social media about their contributions, really just trying to spotlight some of those community members as well and just thank them for their participation on campus. But those are some of the big goals and some of the strategies that we currently have implemented at the high school and some of the things that we're doing just to try to take a step forward and move things in the right direction. Thank you, school. I will turn it over to Mr. Rios or Ms. Wagner.
And you're turning it over to the principal that has his child at my campus now. So he's a joy. Well, good evening, board. Thank you for allowing me to talk about my favorite campus, which is the Floresville Early Childhood Campus. One of our goals for our excellent student outcomes, number one, is getting those kids out of the car and into the building the first week of school. If you don't understand success, that was true success. The parents are the ones who cry and the kids are the ones that run inside, so we know that. One of the things we're doing this year is to ensure the safety drills. It's difficult, but the kids we did have our first fire drill this past month, and they didn't miss a beat. So we will have a lockdown. We do teach them, we do talk to them about it, and we also let the parents know. What we do, we adhere to our Texas Pre-K guidelines, and this year I have talked to my teachers about the importance of our early math and ensuring that not only do we going to cover all 9 domains this year, but we're really going to highlight our social and emotional learning so that they can sit still when they get all into the elementary schools, when they really have to focus on sitting still for long periods of time. And inundating them with the vocabulary that they need to be able to communicate their feelings and their words instead of using their fists. So that's what we do all day long. For goal 2, our superior workplace environment, we do provide professional development. We've been fortunate enough that this year we're actually going to have SAVAS, which is our TEA approved curriculum through 3 tiers,
We're going to use our September 23rd Professional Development Day to have a full day of actual curriculum training, which none of my pre-K teachers have had since they've been at this campus. And so we're going to spend the day and we are going to highlight ways to utilize math in our curriculum and the vocabulary needed to ensure success moving forward. Our staff huddles every morning. We've done that. This is our second year. We huddle at 6:55 in the morning up here. And we include our custodial staff, our nurse, and we can't include our Sarah Guevara, our patrol officer, because she's out there getting ready for duty, but we bring in the things that she needs as well. We review procedures and our practices, and we get feedback from our teachers about best practices and how we can continue to make our campus a place that they want to be. On Goal 3, exceptional customer service and community engagement, we continue to partner with Inc., our Head Start program. We will start our monthly parent sessions this month, in fact, on September the 13th. Hello. That's coming up. We're going to switch our parent meetings from 1 o'clock where we had them last year. We didn't have as many people at that time. So this year we're going to go ahead and have them at 7:30 when the parents are already here, and bring them in through the cafeteria door so we don't have to check them in. Offer coffee, get their feedback, talk about some of the topics, and find out what their interests are so we can ensure that we're meeting the needs of the families in the community as well. Inc. also, I didn't put this up there because it just happened, but they have allowed us to purchase another $10,000 covering outside for our playground. And we did, Inc. also provided some really, really nice outdoor furniture for our students. So now the outdoor furniture will be there with the $10,000 covering over it. So it'll last. So we're excited about that as well. In reference to Goal 4 in our strategic resource management, we do continue recruitment of our 3- and 4-year-old students that reside here in FISD. To ensure the recommended ratios in our classroom, we are completely full upstairs in our Head Start for our 3- and 4-year-old program. Today we were able to enroll 2 new 4-year-olds, and so we bring them in. Some parents were not ready to drop off their 4-year-olds, and that's all right. We're filling those spots with new 4-year-olds, and we'll continue to do that as well. That's all I have. Rick.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Odom, members of the board, Dr. Gilstrap. I'm honored to present an overview of our DAEP Campus Improvement Plan, which strategically addresses our key goals. First, our strategy for student safety and well-being is it centers on the implementation of our comprehensive safety policies, creating a secure and nurturing environment. These policies include rigorous safety protocols, emergency preparedness measures, and ongoing staff training. In academics, we're focusing on targeted learning plans, especially with an emphasis in math. So that's something we're really trying to target this year. With personalized instruction, specialized interventions, and consistent progress monitoring to enhance foundational skills. We want to improve on our FAST program, which offers flexible scheduling, ensuring each student receives at least 240 minutes of instruction a week. Additionally, career exploration presentations and student surveys, empowering students to make informed career decisions. So next, for a superior workplace environment, we've introduced customized training programs to equip staff with skills necessary to address the unique needs of DAEP students, focusing on behavior management and trauma-informed practices. To prioritize mental health and well-being, we've implemented daily mental health check-ins, offering support in a confidential setting. We also celebrate our staff's contributions through monthly staff celebrations, fostering a positive work environment and team camaraderie. In the area of exceptional customer service and community engagement, we've developed a student behavior incentive program. We had it last year, but we're going to improve on it. We have still a few more things that we want to add to it. It motivates positive behavior through really just incentives. So we incentivize everything on our program so that way the students can earn privileges as they go through the program. We also have our Unified Classroom Behavior Reports. It provides parents with daily updates on their child's progress, fostering open communication and family involvement. We are also expanding community presentations,
partnering with Wilson and Karnes counties for drug awareness programs, and collaborating with local businesses and military organizations to provide students with essential life skills and resources. And finally, for strategic resource management, we conduct periodic facility assessments to ensure our campus meets the evolving needs of our students and staff. We also streamlined operational processes, conducting regular performance reviews to enhance efficiency and reduce redundancies. Safety is paramount, and we integrate it into our resource allocation by maintaining security equipment and regularly assessing our emergency preparedness tools. So in summary, these strategies demonstrate our commitment to fostering a safe, supportive, and engaging learning environment while prioritizing a superior workplace environment, community engagement, and resource optimization. Together, these efforts are shaping the future of both students and staff at DAEP. And I will turn it over to Dr.
Thank you, principals. I know that's a lot of information in a very short period of time, but do you have any questions for either principals or myself? Okay, if there are
I have
no.
one question. I don't know if Olden can answer it or not, but we have the new business track. You said about 60 kids are in the principals. Have you seen a decline in any other program, or is it pockets kind of a little bit from each program?
Honestly, majority of our CTE programs are kind of busting at the seams right now.
Yes.
We have a lot of students that are involved in everything. I haven't seen much of a decline. If I did have to state that I've seen a decline anywhere, it would be primarily in band.
Okay.
Anyone else have a question? All right. If not, administration recommends the board approve the campus goals and objectives for 2024-25 as presented by campus administrators.
I make the motion to accept the administration's recommendation to the campus goals. And Mr. Shaw?
I think Mr. Fleur.
Mr. Fleur? Any further questions or discussion? If there are none, all in favor of accepting the administration's recommendation, let me know by raising your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Dr. Wade.
Thank you.
Next, we will consider approval of resolution setting tax rate for the 2024 tax year by Ms. Engel.
Good evening, Dr. Odom, Dr. Gilstrap, and board. This evening, as every September, I come to you and ask you to approve the tax rate for the district. We are required to adopt the 2024 tax rate by September 30th of this year. The tax rate for this year that we will be considering is 89.9481 cents, which is 0.007285 cents less than last year. As a result of House Bill 3, districts must compress their maximum their M&O tax rate based on property value growth. TEA calculates that maximum compressed Tier 1 tax rate, which for us this year was 61.69 cents. To that, the district is able to add the 5 cents for Tier 1 tax rate, the Tier 2 tax rate, and arrive at the combined M&O tax rate, which this year is 66.69%. The INS tax rate is calculated from property values and the district's annual debt payment. And again, the INS rate is only used for annual debt, bond debt payments. So we're looking at a proposed tax rate of an M&O rate of 66.69%, an INS rate of 23.2581 cents, and a total tax rate of 89.9481. Any questions?
She included the worksheet.
Yes, there is a worksheet is in there as well. And the resolution is there for you guys as well. So any questions? If not, administration recommends the board approve the resolution setting the tax rate for the tax year 2024 as presented.
A motion to accept the administration recommendation. Mr. Shaw makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Reed makes a second. All right, any further questions or discussion? All in favor of accepting the administration recommendation, let me know by raising your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Ms. Engel will now present approval of the adult meal prices for the 24-25 school year.
Yes, regulations from the USDA and the TDA require districts to review the cost of adult meals to ensure federal reimbursements, student payments, and other non-designated nutrition program revenues do not subsidize meals served to non-program employees, teachers, administrators, custodians, or other adults. The charge for adult meals must, at a minimum, be greater than the amount of total reimbursement received for a free meal, plus any other supplemental payments received by the district, plus a per meal value of USDA foods or commodities used for the meal service. I included that worksheet as well. And you can see there we've arrived at a minimum adult, at the minimum adult meal prices. So based on the calculations for the 24-25 school year, we're looking at $5 for an adult lunch, which is a 30-cent increase from last year, and $3.30 for an adult breakfast, which is a 20-cent increase from last year. And as a reminder, we are required to look at student meal prices as well, but the district does have a positive fund balance in the child nutrition fund. Therefore, we do not have to increase those. We can leave those as they are. So that's the reason that we're only looking at adult meal prices here. Any questions?
How much did the children's meal, how much did that go up?
It does. It didn't. We're leaving it. We don't have to increase it. It's staying the same.
It's staying the same, but.
Because we have a positive
Okay.
fund balance. Yeah. So we don't have to increase it.
If I remember right, we had a negative fund balance, right, in the balance?
Child nutrition?
Yeah.
Yes, a long time ago.
One time,
Yeah.
one time, but now it's positive.
Yeah, oh, it's, yes, very
Very
positive.
good. I don't know. We like very positive.
Yes.
I didn't know if it went up and we're just covering it. If it actually went up at all, we're just covering it for the fund.
Right. We don't even have to look at it because we have a positive fund balance.
We're good with that.
Right.
Good enough.
So if there are no questions, administration recommends the board approve the price for adult meals for the 24-25 school year as presented.
Motion to accept the district's position, okay. Mr. Voda makes a motion. Do we have a second? Okay, Mr. Moots makes the second. Okay, any further questions? All in favor of accepting the administration recommendation, let me know by raising your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Ms. Engel. Last, we will consider approval of certification of unopposed candidates for the FISD Board of Trustees, single member District 7, and the cancellation of the November 5th, 2024 trustee election for single member District 7. Mr. Schultz.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Superintendent of Schools, Board President, Board of Trustees. The district only received one application for a place on the ballot for single member District 7 for the upcoming FISD trustee election. As a result, the district may cancel this election scheduled for November 5th of 2024. The district has prepared a certification of unopposed status for the candidate that submitted an application for a place on the ballot. The board will need to accept the certification through the approval of the attached order. The order will then be placed on the door of each ballot location during early voting and on election day. With that said, are there any questions pertaining to the election and the certification of the unopposed candidate for FISD Board of Trustees, single member District 7? If there are no questions, administration recommends the board approve order canceling the November 5, 2024 election for single member District 7 and accept the certification of unopposed status for Mr. Marshall Fleer, District 7 as presented.
I'll move to accept the administration's recommendation.
I'll second that one.
And second, Mr. Voda. All right, any further questions? All in favor of accepting the administration recommendation, let me know by raising your hand.
You abstain?
Mr. Fleer, you abstain?
You abstain?
6-0-1.
Welcome back, Mr. Fleer.
Thank you, board.
The board will now convene into executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074 at 7:28
And
pursuant. Okay. Also pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.076 and 551.089 security at 7:28 p.m. The board will reconvene in open session at 8:18 p.m. And we have now concluded our agenda for this meeting. Is there any further business? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned at 8:18 p.m.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.